everybody, today I'm gonna be talking about the common problems of the BMW E53 X5. This model was produced from 2000 to 2006. It was the first generation of BMW X5 ever built. It is a very popular BMW X5. So this BMW X5 used to be mine in the past. I used to own it. I sold it, but I'm gonna talk about my own experience doing repairs and doing maintenance to it, so you know the common problems that I have to face when I used to own it. So this specific BMW is the 4.8 IS. We have two different engines for this BMW, the 6-cylinder engine and the 8-cylinder engine. Just to be clear, I'm gonna talk about the problems with this BMW, but I don't say this is about BMW. I still like this BMW. It's a very nice looking BMW. I just gonna talk about so you know what are the common problems if you are planning to buy one or you own one. Okay, I wanna start by talking about the 6-cylinder engine. The M54 engine is a very popular engine, especially on 3 Series. This engine presents problems, the same problems as the 3 Series. Engine overheating because of the water pump or thermostat failure, sometimes radiator leaks or hoses leaks around the connections, the junctions, coolant tank leaks sometimes. Usually over the time, after many years of use, it's normal to see coolant leaks. Valve cover leaks, 6-cylinder engines, and we are going to see the secondary air pump failure too. Quotes about the secondary air pump failure because it fails, the secondary itself fails, or there is a problem with the air delivery to the exhaust manifold, and sets code to the computer about the secondary air pump. The engine can present problems with the intake manifold. Seals around the intake manifold tend to crack, and air is getting sucked for different areas of the intake manifold, and this sets codes like band 1 tooling or band 2 tooling. This is only an emissions problem, but to fix those problems you need to replace any seal that is broken. Now I'm going to talk about the M62 engine, 8-cylinder engine. The M62 engine can present problems with the timing change. The guys, they usually broke over the time. Other very common problem is the PCB valve on the rear area of the intake manifold. They usually leak a lot of oil and start smoking, white smoke all over the place. Usually to fix that problem you have to replace the PCB valve. Other problems you can see on the M62 engine are oil leaks from the valve cover, engine overheating because of the failure of the thermostat, problems with the cooling fan, and problems with the power steering pump. The manifold seals, they usually break over the time and they start leaking air inside the intake manifold. Rod failure over the time, and timing sensors failures over the time, and coolant leaks around the area, engine compartment, hoses, tanks, radiator, different areas. It is normal over many years of use. So now I'm gonna be talking about the N62 engine. There is two different configurations of the N62 engine, the 4.4 and the 4.8. I'm gonna talk about the 4.4 first. The most common problem is the secondary air pump. The most common problem why the secondary air pump sets codes or fails is because of the excessive carbon build inside the head injection ports to the exhaust manifold. To repair that, you actually have to remove the engine in some cases, but some other people can actually remove the exhaust manifold and clean it from the size of the engine. Other common problem is oil leaks. Oil leaks, especially from the alternator bracket. There is a seal that goes in that area, then start leaking oil over the time. Another very common problem is the valve stem seals. This problem is caused because of the low quality seals that are installed on the engine. To prevent this problem from happening, if you don't have this problem on your car, on your BMW N62 engine, I recommend to change the oil every 5,000 miles, because the oil is the one that keeps the seal in a good condition, so it will prevent this problem to happen. Another common problem with the N62 engine 4.4 is overheating because of the failure of the fan getting activated. The cooling fan sometimes doesn't work, and it's because it's a failure with the system, internal system of the cooling fan. To prevent this problem to happen, you have to constantly check the cooling fan functionality. If it's not working good, you have to replace it. Now I'm gonna talk about the N62 4.8 engine. This engine has very similar problems to the N62 4.4, with the only difference that this engine doesn't suffer the problem with the secondary air pump failure, because this engine doesn't have a secondary air pump system. So this engine is going to have the same problems as the N62 4.4, like valve steam seals leak, valve cover leaks, alternator leaks, coolant leaks, cooling fan failure, and water pump failure. Sometimes everyone's gonna have the same problems. In my case, I used to own this vehicle. I didn't have any problems with it. This engine even doesn't have the problem with the valve steam seals leak, but I used to change the oil every 5,000 miles, and that's the reason it's still running with no problems. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about the common problems with the BMW X5 transmission. I personally had some problems with it. My problem that I had with this 6-speed transmission was the solenoid failure. The solenoid number 4, it stopped working, so I had to replace all the solenoids. Luckily, I could buy the solenoid online at Amazon. The dealer, BMW dealer, doesn't sell the solenoids. You have to buy the entire valve body. They don't sell the solenoids separately, so it's very expensive if you go to the dealer. In this case, you can buy just the solenoids and replace them, and your problem will be solved. After that, I just did maintenance to it, like replacing the oil and replacing the filters. I always use the right quality of oil. The CF oil is the best oil you can buy for this CF transmission. But the common problems if you don't do the good maintenance to the transmission are torque converter failure, gears not engaging, gears slipping, gear not actually working properly, and sometimes the transmission goes neutral because there is not enough pressure to get the gears on. As I said before, if you want to prevent any of these problems, all you have to do is replace the oil on time, and if you present the problems of the solenoid failure, you don't have to replace the transmission. You only have to replace the solenoids. Now I want to talk about the problems with the suspension of the BMW X5. If you have the regular suspension on your BMW X5, it doesn't have much problems. The only problems you're gonna have on your BMW is the front control arms and the lower arms problems. Then you have to replace it over the time. If you have air suspension on your vehicle, you're gonna have problems like airbags leaking, and sometimes they don't hold the air good enough, and when you're driving, you're gonna feel that the car is hitting very, very hard. So if this happened to you, you have to replace the air springs. They sell the air springs alone or with the shock absorber together. I recommend to replace the air spring with the shock absorber together to prevent any future problems with your suspension. If you can see the airbag here, that means then you have air suspension. You're gonna have this switch over here that controls the air suspension of your vehicle. With the rear suspension of this BMW X5, the very common problem is the rear bushings wearing. These bushings over here, you can see there, go bad over the time, and you're gonna hear noises, very loud noises, especially when you take off very hard. Something hidden because of those bushings are in a bad condition. I actually replaced this bushing on this BMW, so I had that common problem on my BMW, but this is not a very expensive repair to do. You can buy the tools and the parts online. Other common problem with the suspension is a message that comes over here and says self-leveling suspension inactive. That problem is caused because of the failure of hold the air in the air springs or the uneven level of the vehicle when the air springs are completely full. To fix this problem, you have to check with your diagnostic tool what's going on, what's the reason why the self-leveling suspension sends that message. Another problem is this light coming on. Usually this light comes on because of the self-leveling suspension inactive. In this case, this vehicle has that problem, but the message is not showing anymore here. Problems I can mention about the E53 are the ABS module failure. You're gonna see this light here, the traction control light, the brake light going yellow and the ABS going yellow. That means that the ABS small module is not working properly. Sometimes you have to replace the module, and sometimes sensors are the cause of this problem. This vehicle has the airbag light on, and this light is on because of the passenger side mat is not working properly. This is a very common on any BMW. To repair this, you have to replace the passenger side mat. Other problems I used to have with this BMW X5 was the parking sensors. They were not working properly. So to repair this, you have to check which sensor is not working and replace it or repair it. You're gonna present problems like these spots on your screen. You can replace the screen, or you can replace the whole radio to repair this problem. Interior problems of this BMW, I didn't have many interior problems with it, but very common problems are window regulators not working properly, and sometimes sunroof not closing the way it's supposed to close. We have the panoramic sunroof on this BMW X5, and sometimes the system doesn't operate properly and it doesn't want to close. Other common problems I can mention about the BMW E53 X5 are the transfer case solenoid and transfer case gears failure, rear suspension ball joints and control arms failure. This is caused because of the ball joints, they get wear over the time, and this presents problems like rear tires wearing faster than expected from the inside. Rear differential bushings, sometimes they get wear over the time, and you're gonna feel noises coming from the rear area. The front axle, usually the leather boot cover rip off and the grease that is inside start leaking. That's a very common problem. You can replace only the boot, or you can replace the entire axle. So pretty much this is all the problems I'm going to talk about this BMW E53. There are so many other problems, but these are the most common one, the one I just mentioned. As I said before, this is a very nice looking BMW X5. I used to drive this BMW myself and I like it, still like it. But it still had problems, you know. So if you're planning to buy one or you own one, just keep in mind to give good maintenance to it, and it will last longer. So if you have any questions about this video, just comment below and I will answer them as soon as I can. Please like the video, share it, subscribe, and thank you for watching.